Hey boys and girls, Cheap Bastard here with knots for hammock nuts. Got 4 knots I'm going to talk about today. This one, the bowline, is the first one. The next one we're going to look at is the Marlin spike hitch. A real Jim Dandy she is. Yeah, looks more like that, eh? Next thing we're going to talk about real quick like is the Prusik knot. Oh, she's a beauty. And last is the Taut-line hitch. Oh, it looks confusing and messy, but it's really simple. Right? More to come. So this is the bowline knot. This is a small one. You can tie them any size you like, but this is the knot right here, and the loop that you end up with has many functions. So first, let's look how it's tied. People avoid knots because they're hard to tie. You have to remember how to tie them. You have to know when to use them for what application. So I'm going to start off with about 15 inches of line here. Here's the end. Now I'm going to make a loop, just like that. Right? See that again. I'm going to make a loop, just like that. There we go. There's my loop. So we're going to call this end the rabbit. We're going to call this the hole, and this is the tree. This is the long end that may be attached to something else, who knows. So this is the rabbit. The rabbit comes up out of his hole, just like so. Out of his hole, just like so. And goes around the tree, and then dives back down into the hole. Why did he do that? We don't know. Nor do we care. It's just a clever way to help you remember how to tie this knot. One more time. Oh, and look how easy it is to untie. You just push down on that loop there, and it all comes undone. One more time. Here we go. 15 inches or so. I'm going to make a loop just like that. My rabbit comes up out of the hole, runs around the tree, goes back down the hole. Yeah, there you go. Now, I have a number of uses for this knot in my hammock setup. Primary use is for my tree strap. That's the strap that goes around the tree to which my hammock is then connected via a suspension system. My tree strap is a 3/4 inch polyester webbing strap with a breaking strength of, I don't know, something like 1,400 pounds. Very strong. Polyester is nice because it does not stretch, unlike this nylon cord that I'm demonstrating with. So what I do is I make this bowline just like this. I grab the other end of my webbing strap. I wrap this around the tree, and then I pass this through. Right, just like so, just like so. So now my hand and my wrist is the tree. Webbing strap snugs up just like that. Also, I use this knot when I'm connecting my suspension to my hammock. My hammock is a gathered end hammock, so my suspension is it's a Dyneema material. So I make a loop just like this, and then I do what's called a lark's head by holding with my right hand the knot. With my left hand I reach up underneath and roll it over like this, grabbing that with my thumb and creating essentially a slip knot. And that's what holds on to the end of my hammock. This knot just like that. Very useful. The other thing I use the bowline for is for my ridge line on my tarp. My tarp is permanently connected to my ridge line. So I have a bowline tied, and then attached to the bowline I use, and this is a huge carabiner. I have a much smaller one. But attached to the bowline is the carabiner. Just like that. So this is the assembly, huh? Then I just reach around the tree and clip this light-duty carabiner onto the ridge line, like so, And that's one end attached of my ridgeline. My wrist and fist acting as the tree in this example. That's the bowline. Again, a lot of knots when you tie them are difficult to untie, especially if you're my son. But the bowline is really easy. You can tighten it as tight as you like, then you just flip it over, and you see this is where the rabbit ran around the tree. You just push that down with your finger. Again, the whole knot comes loose. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. Just like that. Okay, let's do a Marlin spike hitch. We're going to pretend that this orange line, in this case, is my 3/4 inch polyester webbing strap that I use as a tree strap. Okay, so it's tied up. It's tied up there at the top to the tree. This end is hanging down here, just down to the ground there. So I grab the strap, in this case the string, and I make a loop like so. Come a little closer. There, you see the loop? Then I take the loop and I flip it over onto this line that's hanging down, and I reach through and grab the line that's hanging down. All right, so then I've made another loop, and through that I pass a Crayola marker, which I'm using as a toggle. So when I hang my suspension from this knot, I'm not hanging it on this toggle, because the toggle would never support the weight. Usually I just use a stick. But the line, my suspension line, hangs on this piece right here, this part of the knot. Hang it from the knot, not from the toggle. And you can never go wrong. Now, to untie this clever little knot, all you do is pull the toggle out. It slides right out, comes right apart. Let's see that one more time. Line hanging down. Make a loop, just like that. A loop is easy to make. Anyone can do it. Flip it over. Okay, my hands are in the way. Flip it over, then reach through and grab the line that's hanging down, In a sense, you've just created another loop. And through that, you slide the toggle. That's it. Get a view of both sides. Here's the front. Here's the back. Here's the front. Here's the back. To undo the knot, pull the toggle. That's it. Nothing to it, Now let's have a look at how the Prusik knot works. Prusik knot is a very clever knot, and it's used, in my case, I use it to attach my tarp to my ridgeline. I always keep my tarp permanently attached. I never take it off. And the way to do it is this line just wraps around 1, 2, generally that's enough. You can go 3 times if you like, but that's it. And what this allows you to do is, once it's under load, it won't slide, but once you release the load, you can slide it wherever you want. And this is handy with my tarp, especially because no two trees are spaced equally apart. So with this ridge line, I can attach the ridge line using a bowline knot, as I showed you earlier, and then I can slide the tarp up and down the ridge line as I need it. Very clever. Let's look at that again. This is attached, just a piece of, in fact, this is the same cord I use to hang my tarp on my ridge line. It goes just like this. Around, Oops, she's a twisting. Oh, she's a twisty thing. Around. I think on my tarp, I may have it going 3 times around, like that. Yeah. The more times you pass it around, the tighter it is. Just like that. And it's a supremely useful little knot. The Prusik knot. Many applications. This is the one I use most commonly for my, as I said, for my tarp. There you go. Nothing to it, eh? Okay, the last one is a knot, I believe it's called a Taut-line hitch. I might be wrong. But it's a knot that I use to tie the second end of my ridgeline for my tarp to a tree. And more importantly, it's a knot that I use to tie the tie-outs from my tarp to the stakes in the ground. In this case, my foot is going to be the stake. So we'll pretend that I put a stake in the ground where I want it, and now I'm going to tie a line from my tarp to the stake that I can adjust, and it goes something like this. Here's the loose end. I like to keep the loose end towards me and the end that's tied to the tarp away from me. So I grab the tarp end, wrap the loose end once, twice, and then I come over and make a loop like so and tighten like so. It's an ugly looking affair, but it's nice because you can slide this knot up and down as needed to tension your tarp the way you like it. And I don't like to leave knots in my tie-outs when I pack up. So this is also really easy to undo. You just pull that line and it comes undone. One more time. Here we go. The line closest to me, I take with my right hand. I come around and around and then make a loop through here. It's kind of confusing. You have to practice this one a couple of times. I know I did before I finally got it, but it works great. It's a constrictor knot. Again, similar to the Prusik, the way it works. Once it's under load, it holds tight. Take the load off. You can slide this wherever you want it. Huh? Very handy. Very handy indeed. She's a real Jim Dandy. That's what my grandmother used to say. Ugh. Et voilà.